Munchkins. I'm Mr. Nick, and today we are talking all about this little animal right here called a shrike. And we're going to start off by singing a shrike song if you all want to stand up on your feet. Great! So today in our shrike song, shrikes are birds that like to eat lots of different food. And we're going to be in our song listening for some different animal sounds. And then we're going to see if we can figure out what animal that sound is coming from. So we're going to need to put on our listening ears and put on our dancing feet, and we're going to sing a song about shrikes. Are you ready? All right, let's go. I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike. I fly around the open field to find the things I like. And when I found some food I want to pick, I grab it with my beak and I put it on a stick. Now, I hear a noise. What could it be? It sounds like buzz, buzz, buzz. A bee! I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike. I fly around the open field to find the things I like. And when I found some food I want to pick, I grab it with my beak and I put it on a stick. I hear a sound. What could it be? It sounds like a cricket. I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike. I fly around the open field to find the things I like. And when I found some food I want to pick, I grab it with my beak and I put it on a stick. I hear a sound. What could it be? It sounds like ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. A frog! I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike. I fly around the open field to find the things I like. And when I found some food I want to pick, I grab it with my beak and I put it on a stick. I hear a noise. What could it be? It sounds like a bird. I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike. I fly around the open field to find the things I like. And when I found some food I want to pick, I grab it with my beak and I put it on a stick. I hear a sound. What could it be? It sounds like a snake. I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike, I'm a shrike. I fly around the open field to find the things I like. And when I found some food I want to pick, I grab it with my beak and I put it on a stick. All right, thank you guys so much for listening to that song. Let's all find a seat and let's talk about shrikes because they're really interesting animals. Has anyone ever seen a shrike before? Have you ever seen a shrike before? Have you ever heard of a shrike before? They're really interesting animals, and they kind of look just like these little tiny birds. They look like just like a bird you might see around your neighborhood flying around in a tree. But they're actually really interesting animals who live in big open spaces all over the world. So there are lots of different types of shrikes, and we find shrikes in Europe, and we find shrikes in Asia, and parts of Africa, and in North America, and parts of South America. But around here where we live in North America, in the United States, there's actually only 2 types of shrikes that we find. But there are lots of different types of shrikes all over the world, and most shrikes are pretty small, just like this shrike that I've got right here. So this is called a greater shrike, if you can believe it. This is a pretty big shrike. Most shrikes are only about 6 inches long, 6 to 9 inches long. So this is kind of on the bigger side of shrikes. And they have this long, sharp beak with a little hook on it. And they have these really cute little tiny feet with their little tiny claws. But don't let their cuteness fool you. Shrikes are actually pretty vicious predators in their environments where they live. They're a type of bird, or they're a type of animal called a carnivore. Can you say that word? Carnivore. How about, can you say that word really quietly? Carnivore. Can you say that word like you're underwater? Can you say that word like you're in a washing machine? Carnivore. Great. Carnivores are meat eaters. So shrikes, since they're carnivores, they like to eat lots of different animals. But they have this big beak for catching things, but their claws are really small. Their toes are really small. Not like any other big birds who like to catch food like owls and eagles. They have really big feet, good for grabbing onto things and holding on to them while they eat them. But shrikes, since their feet are so small, they actually grab their food and then they'll fly around where they live, around the fields, and they'll look for sticks or maybe like a barbed wire fence, things that have little pokey things on them, or thorns like on a rose bush, and they'll find a stick, a pointy stick like this, and they'll put their food on it there so they can eat it off that. Do you ever like eating food off a stick? Have you ever eaten food off a stick before? Maybe like a corn dog? Or a popsicle? Or a sucker? Or maybe you've even made kebabs at home before out of like steak and vegetables or out of fruit. So yeah, we like to eat our food off sticks sometimes too. It's kind of a weird habit that the shrikes have, but it's actually really, really smart of them. Since their feet are so small and their feet are too small to hold on to things, they use that special adaptation to hold their food on sharp, pointy sticks and thorns and branches and fences so that it can't get away and they can eat it with their beaks instead of trying to hold on to it with those teeny, tiny little feet. So shrikes are actually really interesting little birds. And if you've never heard of them before, maybe now you'll go and look up a book or maybe a show about shrikes so you can learn a little bit more about them. And shrikes, since they have such unusual eating habits, I thought it would be really fun if we read a story about someone else who has a little bit unusual eating habits. One of my favorite books, Green Eggs and Ham. Have you ever read this book before? So this is a book by Dr. Seuss. Green Eggs and Ham. I am Sam. Oh, there he goes. He's fast. Sam I am. That's Sam I am. That's Sam I am. I do not like that Sam I am. Do you like green eggs and ham? I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. Would you like them here or there? I would not like them here or there. I would not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you like them in a house? Would you like them with a mouse? I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Oh, would you eat them in a box? Would you eat them with a fox? Not in a box, not with a fox, not in a house, not with a mouse. I would not eat them here or there. I would not eat them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Could you in a car? Eat them, here they are. I would not, could not in a car. You may like them, you will see. You may like them in a tree. I would not like, could not in a tree, not in a car, you let me be. I do not like them in a box. I do not like them with a fox. I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. A train, a train, a train, a train. Would you on a train? Not on a train, not in a tree, not in a car. Sam, let me be. I would not, could not in a box. I could not, would not with a fox. I will not eat them with a mouse. I will not eat them in a house. I will not eat them here or there. I will not eat them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Say, in the dark? Here in the dark? Could you in the dark? I would not, could not, in the dark. Could you in the rain? I would not, could not, in the rain, not in the dark, not on a train, not in a car, not in a tree. I do not like them, Sam, you see. Not in a house, not in a box, not with a mouse, not with a fox. I will not eat them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. You do not like green eggs and ham? I do not like them, Sam I am. Oh, well, would you with a goat? I would not, could not with a goat. Could you on a boat? I could not, would not on a boat. I will not with a goat. I will not eat them in the rain. I will not eat them on a train. Not in the dark, not in a tree, not in a car. You let me be. I do not like them in a box. I do not like them with a fox. I will not eat them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. You do not like them, so you say. Try them, and you may. Try them, and you may, I say. Sam, if you will let me be, I will try them. You will see. Whoa. Say, I like green eggs and ham. I do, I like them, Sam I am. And I would eat them in a boat, and I would eat them with a goat. And I will eat them in the rain, and in the dark, and on a train, and in a car, and in a tree. They are so good, you see. So I will eat them in a box, and I will eat them with a fox, and I will eat them in a house, and I will eat them with a mouse, and I will eat them here and there. Say, I will eat them anywhere. I do so like green eggs and ham. Thank you, Sam I am. The end. So that was a pretty fun story about he didn't like to eat weird things either. Just like the Shrike likes to eat lots of different foods that you might not like to eat, and they eat them in a way that maybe you don't eat food generally around your house. So Shrikes like to eat things like grasshoppers and spiders and snakes and frogs and crickets. Do you like to eat any of those things? I don't either, maybe aside from the occasional cricket or grasshopper. Have you ever tried those before? They're not terrible. They're not really good, but they're not terrible either. So we've got a couple really fun crafts for us to do today. We thought because shrikes, one of their things they like to do when they put things on sticks, it helps them to hold their food, but also it helps them to save their food so they can maybe plan on, oh, I want to eat a grasshopper on Wednesday, so I'm going to catch one today and put it on a stick, and that way on Wednesday, I'll have a grasshopper to eat. So we are going to do a really fun activity where we're going to do some meal planning, some menu planning at our house, just like a shrike would. So in order to do this activity, you're going to need a couple things. We're going to need a pair of scissors, and we're going to need a kebab stick, or maybe if you have a chopstick at home, or maybe you could even just go outside and find a regular stick if you don't have either of those. And then we're going to need one of these worksheets, which you can print off our website after our show. And what we're going to do is in each one of these circles, we're going to draw what we're going to have this week for our dinner or lunch or snack, and we're going to draw them in these circles, and then we're going to put them on the stick. And then we'll know when we have our snack, we can tear that off our stick, and then we'll eat that. And while we do that, let's answer some questions that you've been sending in. All right. So Allie would like to know, how do shrikes sleep? Well, it's interesting. Birds kind of sleep a lot differently than we do. Lots of animals don't sleep the same way that we do, where they dream or they sleep for a really long period of time. Shrikes usually only come out during the day. And so, since they only come out during the day, they sleep at night, and they usually sleep in trees or bushes, places where there are little branches for their feet to hold on to. And they'll close their eyes for a little while, but they don't really sleep the same way that we do. All right, so once we have our menu items drawn on our circles, then we're going to cut them out. So we have those 6 circles for us to color in and draw pictures on. So, and while we cut those out, let's answer another question. Why do they put their food on a stick? That is a very good question. Well, it seems like, from what scientists can tell, they do it for a couple reasons. But the main reason that they do it is because of the grasshoppers that they like to eat. So shrikes have figured out that the grasshoppers that they eat, when they eat them, if they just catch them and eat them right away, it kind of makes their stomachs upset. Because there's something in the grasshopper that just makes them sick. So, but they found out if they take the grasshoppers and catch them, and then they put them on a stick and let them sit for a few days, then it doesn't make their stomachs hurt when they eat them. So then they're safe for them to eat. So that's a very good question. It's a really interesting behavior that we don't see with a lot of other animals, putting things on sticks. So not many animals use tools like that. We use tools, and shrikes use tools, and some monkeys use tools and things, but there aren't many animals that actually use a tool like a pointy stick for catching food or doing other things in their environment. All right, so I've got my 6 things cut out, drawn on and colored, or cut out and ready for coloring, and then I'm going to put them on my stick while we answer some more questions. So, let's see here. Jack wants to know how good their eyesight is. Ooh, very good question. Well, lots of birds have really good eyesight. They're really good at seeing their prey from far away. And a good way to think about how good a shrike's eyesight is if we think about the type of food that they like to eat. So they like to eat lots of little bugs and things. And if you can imagine running around and flying around way above a field, and seeing with your eyes, seeing a little tiny grasshopper jumping around and being able to swoop down and grab it, that is pretty good. You have to have pretty good eyesight in order to do that. All right, so I've got my first menu item colored. I'm gonna make some fish taco bowls, I think. So I'm gonna put that on my stick, just like that. All right, let's do the next one while we answer another question. Why are their beaks so small, Lucas wants to know. That is a good question. So their beaks are small because they're small, right? They're not very big animals. So it would be kind of silly if they had a really big beak, wouldn't it? But they don't need a very big beak because all of the food that they catch and that they eat is pretty small too. So they want that smaller beak to be able to catch things. And if you notice, it has a little tiny kind of hook on it. Here, I'll bring it a little closer so you can see. Its beak has kind of a little tiny hook on the end of it, so that it's really good at grabbing those things that it likes to eat, those bugs and those little animals, because it has that hook on its beak. Just like an owl or a hawk or an eagle, they have those little hooks on their beaks too. Here, I'm going to color a couple of these really quickly so I can show you two at a time. So that's why their beak isn't very big, because it doesn't need to be, because all of their food that they catch is pretty small. All right, I've got my next two menu items that I'm going to put on my menu stick so I know what I'm eating later this week. I'm going to add some sausage and peppers and potatoes. That sounds pretty good. Put that on my stick just like that. And then I'm going to add some pesto pasta with chicken and broccoli. I like broccoli. Do you like broccoli? That's one of my favorite vegetables. And pesto pasta is kind of like noodles with this fun green sauce on it. So it kind of makes your pasta a little bit more fun if you've never had green pasta before. All right, let's answer another question. So Aaron wants to know how small their feet are. That is a very good question. So again, just like their beaks, their feet are pretty small because they have to be, because the rest of their body is small. If they had really, really big feet, it would be really hard for them to walk around. So they just have feet that are the right size for their bodies, just like I'm sure your feet are the right size for your body, right? It would be pretty silly if you had really, really big feet. Like, let me show you another bird. Let's grab our friend, the owl, and we'll look at just how big its feet are. Wow, can you see how big those feet are on this bird? They're really big and really good at grabbing onto other animals and holding onto them while they eat them. But a shrike has those really teeny tiny little feet. So they're good for holding on to sticks or branches while they're on a tree, but they're not very good for holding on to their food while they eat it. A very good question, Aaron. All right, I'm almost done with my next two items I'm going to put on my stick here. I'm going to add, I think, would you let me know? You let me know if this sounds like it's a pretty good dinner decision for me to make this week. I try to make sure I add lots of vegetables and fruits and things every day, but I also want to make sure that I eat protein and grains and things like that, because those are all things that we need too. So the next two things I'm going to add, we're going to add some black beans and sweet potatoes. That sounds pretty good. And I'm going to add some chicken stir fry. Ooh, that sounds pretty good too. All this food is making me kind of hungry. And I've got one more that I'm going to make and put on my stick while I answer this one last question that I have here. How much can a shrike carry? Ooh, that is a very good question. So because shrikes are pretty small, they can't carry very much. They can only, because their bodies weigh actually, like this shrike here I've got in front of me, its body weighs less than a pound. it doesn't weigh very much at all. So it couldn't carry something that was really big, otherwise it wouldn't be able to fly. So it can only carry really small things, and things don't weigh very much, like bugs and little spiders and little snakes or mice, things that are small enough for them to carry but still be able to fly around. So it can't weigh too much, otherwise they won't be able to fly around. All right, so I've got my one more menu item that I'm going to put on my kebab, and it's one of my favorites, pizza. Gotta have some pizza on Saturday, I think. Perfect. All right, now look at that. I've got all of my menu for the whole week on my little Shrike stick right here. So I can find a place in my kitchen and put that in there so that I can check every day, ooh, what am I going to have for dinner today? I know, fish taco bowls. And if you want to make another craft, we actually have 2 crafts this week. So we have our menu, and then we also have this fun little Shrike that I made from my handprint and my shoe print that I'm going to hang up next to my menu item so he can keep track of all the different things that I'm eating this week and make sure that I'm eating nice, healthy foods too. All right. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in today. Remember, if you want to check out any of those crafts, like our Shrike sticks or our Shrike footprint handprint crafts, or any of our other Munchkins crafts that we've posted already, or we have lots of other family crafts too that are getting posted on our social media and on our website. If you go to our website, kenoshapublicmuseum.org, and go to the kids page at the top, then you'll be able to find all sorts of different activities for you guys to have fun with at home. And I hope that you guys come back and join us next week. Next week we were going to have a dinosaur egg scavenger hunt here at the museum, but we had to cancel that, so we're still going to talk about dinosaurs, and we're going to talk about how you can have an egg scavenger hunt all at your own house, since you can't come to the museum for one. All right, so I hope you guys join us for that, and thanks for joining us today. Bye, guys!